Hi everyone, so this is the hiding places video. In the schedule I have two different videos, one for just talking about hiding places and one where I'm talking about the hiding places assignment. I've decided to combine those two because they're both fairly short, and it's just easier to do so. So if we have this reading hiding places, I just want to point out a couple of things in there. Hopefully you've already read it. If you haven't read it before this video, you should go ahead and read it and then start the video again. But one of the things I think is interesting about this uh, uh, piece of writing is how she uses a lot of details of the bathroom to tell us a lot about her family. Those two things mix together, right? So she's, supposedly describing a bathroom. She begins, I am 5. So realize this is, of course, looking back. That becomes important for when we think about the assignment that I'm going to give you, that you can potentially be looking back as well. She says, this small bathroom where my father sat on the toilet after work and died. And I'm like, wait a minute, her father died. She's describing bathroom, and we immediately jump into things like that, like her family history. And I think what becomes important is we can recognize that just by looking at a place and thinking about that place, we can bring up larger ideas like that. And so she's going to go into a description of bathroom, but she can't go into a description of a bathroom without thinking about the fact that that's where her father died. And she kind of mixes those things together with, he sat on the toilet after work and died, and where before then mom took baths with green rubbing alcohol and Epsom salts to eat the weariness, right? And so she remembers those things. I mean, again, one thing that's obviously very traumatic, one thing that might be very pleasant about where her mother's taking a bath. Her mother works hard, and can see her like putting those things, the alcohol and the Epsom salts in the bath so she can kind of relax. That seems a much more pleasant thing. And she puts both of those things next to each other. And then she says, this bathroom is for me a playroom full of things no adult ever touches. And so she kind of just jumps from those stories about her family to starting to describe the bathroom. The sheetrock leaning against the wall. The sheetrock is, if we don't know what sheetrock is, the stuff that we make walls out of, right? If you have a lot of places where the walls are, it comes in these big sheets, right? And then they nail that up to boards in the house, and that's what makes the walls. So the sheetrock leaning against the wall means that we have it leaning against the wall. It means that this bathroom is in disrepair, right? Because we've got parts of the walls that are just off and leaning there. Either something was broken and they pulled the sheetrock off, or they or are about to repair it or something like that. So the sheetrock leaning against the wall, smelling of mold, a nice little detail, is my chalkboard, right? And the neon green lizards crawling in and out through holes in the screen are my students. And just in this paragraph, there's just a lot of stuff that we're going to get here about her just being a child and pretending to be a teacher, teaching lizards, and her father is dead. And remembering how her mother used to soak in the tub. And so that's a lot of details, a lot of specific information that we're getting about the room, but also about her family. And just keep that in mind. You have to talk about that for the discussion board, and I'm also going to want you to talk about that, do something similar to that for the writing assignment. She says, standing on 2 bricks lifts me high enough to see out onto the alleyway running behind our house and over the fence that separates where I live from where my friend Kendra lives in the trailer park next door, right? So she's got bricks in there. I mean, we can see that this is a bathroom that is, it's not very, all nicely prepared for guests and things like that. There's sheetrock against the wall. There's bricks in it. Lizards are coming in and out of it. And so we get a sense about her living situation in the house. We get a sense of again, things going on with her family just by those descriptions. And so I want you to think about that. How is it that we can really begin to understand something larger about what's going on just by using some kind of details? Because that's what you'll need to do for your writing assignment. Careful when coming down that my lavender jelly sandaled foot does not step into the medium-sized hole in the floorboard that will eventually become a large hole, letting in more sound and outside creatures. Right, so this place is definitely falling apart. There's actually holes in the floor. lavender jelly sandaled foot, that she's going to remember the kinds of shoes that she's going to be using. Those jelly sandals are kind of a plastic sandal that she's going to use, that going to wear there. And so we've got, again, those are a lot of uh, detailed descriptions. And again, through that, we're learning a lot about the nature of this house. Again, it's going to be in disrepair. We're learning a lot about her family. Um, so look at how she does all of that, and I would then want you to think about how you can do something similar. I want you to, for your writing assignment, which I'm going to bring up here, I say, in Hiding Places, the author Sarah M. Broom uses detailed descriptions of a bathroom to help us understand her family situation when she was a child, right? That's what we were just talking about. And 350 words or more, so at least 350 words. I don't want it less than 350 words, and I can see them. You should be able to count them when you write them in Microsoft Word or whatever word processing program that you use. I want at least 350 words. You need to describe a room from a place where you live now or have lived in the past, or a room that you spent a lot of time in, such as a classroom or a room in church. So any room that you're familiar with. This is where I went to school. This is my, third grade classroom. Let me tell you, it was kind of important to me. Let me tell you about that. This is the kitchen in my grandmother's house. That's important. This is my bedroom that I had when I was 5. This is, where this room I spent a lot of time in, the main room in church. And here's why that's going to be important to me. So any room that you have spent some time in, or are spending time in now, you can talk about your current room that you live in, the current kitchen where you live, wherever it is. I can't imagine, but maybe it's important for you to talk about a room at QCC. I spend more time at QCC probably, so it might be more important to me. But if QCC is important to you, then you could do that. That would be perfectly fine. But any room that for whatever reason you spend a great deal of time in, and I want you to use your descriptions, as I say here. So the next sentence, you'll need to use your descriptions to help explain something about who you are now or who you were at the time. Something about your background situation. Let's understand what exactly is going on with you. And that's exactly what Broom is doing. She is telling us something about this room, but in the process of telling us about this room, we're learning a lot about her family, about how she sees things. I mean, she's the kind of kid who wants to be a teacher, right? She uses the sheetrock as a chalkboard and wants to teach students. I mean, teach lizards as students. That says something. I mean, that's a different kind of a kid from a kid who wants to go out and play sports, or a kid who might want to dance, or whatever it is. Those are the kinds of things that she's interested in. And so we understand that. We understand, again, some things about her family. We understand that she likes to be alone, quiet. I mean, there's a lot that we learn about her because of why this room becomes important. Somebody who hides out in a bathroom. Again, somebody who likes to be alone, likes to have some maybe quiet contemplation. She's maybe a bit more meditative, somebody who thinks a lot. And so understand how that room tells us something about who she is. So you'll use your descriptions to explain something about who you are now or who you were at the time. Before beginning the assignments, read Hiding Places again. So look through the whole thing and look at how Broom shows us the tiniest of details and then uses those details to tell us about her relationships with her father, mother, and siblings. So just look at how that happens. Happens all the way through where we're getting these little bit of details, and then we understand something about what's going on in the house and her life more generally. I'm the only one who will read these assignments, so I'm not going to share them with the class, so you don't have to worry about revealing information to other people in the class. So, you can, obviously the things you might not want to share with me, but you don't have to worry about other people in the class. Sometimes that's, potentially uncomfortable. So that's the nature of this assignment. So you've got this that you'll need to do, and you'll write that up in whatever word processing program and submit that onto Blackboard into the Turnitin link. You've also got the discussion board where I asked you to kind of talk about why that title, Hiding Places. So you do that as well. So those are the Hiding Places assignments for the week. If you have any questions about that, let me know.